This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 254. We are recording on Wednesday, March 12th, 2014. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Holy Goalie and Nick DeNicola.
Good to be here. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, always happy to be on here.
Oh, look at you guys, bringing the energy.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Trying to.
You're bringing the energy, and Nick bringing what he... Yeah. Yeah, that was it. You shot your wad?
Yep. Oh, that was so early. I used to have getting a cramp. Just too much exhaustion.
Are you still here, bitch?
So how have you guys been?
So anyway, it's been a trying week for a couple of us here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Edie,
might as well, I'll just pop it out there. Yeah, my dad finally passed away. Day before yesterday, I think it was. Sunday, early Sunday morning. So he is off to go sing with a choir in Visibule. And yes, I'm upset, but I'm also staying busy. And one of the things that makes me happy right now is to know, and has actually really helped me, is knowing that I had a podcast to come to. That I had my group of friends. I could sit down and talk about video games and not talk about filling out paperwork, talk about getting desk certificates, not talk about all this other stuff. So I'm totally stoked to be here, more so than ever. In fact, I know Goalie was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Can you do this? Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Oh my God, yes." If anybody has ever gone through the whole process of, all the paperwork and the forms and making arrangements, I guess is what they call it, getting your affairs in order, man, that is exhausting. And so I couldn't think of anything more that I would rather be doing right now than doing this right now. But I will say I am a little bit hungover right now. I'm not going to lie.
That's how I was last week. Last Wednesday after we did the show, I had a meeting and I went out and just ripped it up and just, you got to, you're all stressed out and you get serious things happening. And if you can, I look toward like what I'm looking at the next day. And if I didn't have to get up and had nothing important going on, then you go out and you rip it up and then sleep in and, get it out of your system.
Yep. And in fact, I was actually talking to Nick last night about, one of the things that's in the back of my head, and I don't know if I'm going to take advantage of it, but it almost might be worthwhile, even though I don't normally do this, is I have a bunch of medicinal marijuana now left over from my dad, and Goat Simulator is coming out on April 1st. Oh. And the two of those combined, it's almost more tempting than I can stand. So I will let you know. But I finally sent last week. I sent Nick the trailer and a couple of the beta test videos off for Goat Simulator. Sent it to him.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anything about this video. Like I'd kind of seen it mentioned, and I just thought, oh, haha, that's a dumb game. But whatever. And yeah, it's a dumb game, but it looks like such a great dumb game.
If it has multiplayer, I'll lose my freaking mind.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be hilarious.
What's this on?
It's going to be on Steam.
On Steam?
Yeah, what it was a couple of guys from Coffee Stain Studios. We talked to them. Guys,
they're the ones that did Sanctum.
Yeah, Sanctum 2. And we saw them at PAX. And I guess they were involved in some kind of a game jam or something. And they created this game called Goat Simulator. And it was like almost a joke. But the video that someone made of them playing it and showing it from the game jam got something like 2 million or 3 million views. And people were absolutely begging them to release the game as a game. And they're like, dudes, it's just a little something we hacked together. And they're like, no, seriously, we want it. So They're releasing it on April 1st on Steam. And can't freaking wait. It's silly like Octodad. It's
I think
not.
I did see some of it somewhere, and it did look pretty intriguing, I gotta say.
Oh, it's so. I made the mistake of looking it up and watching it in a doctor's waiting room. And it's so funny. You can't stop yourself from laughing. So here I am in a doctor's waiting room, like trying to not laugh, which is even harder to do. And you're just, it's so hilarious. It's essentially a game that is constructed out of bugs. You know, like when you get a bug and you get that ragdoll thing and things like start, the gravity is all wrong. So things start bouncing around too much and you know, things bounce way high into the air, and you've seen these things, and it's a game that's what it is, but you're a goat and you have a sticky tongue. So if you hit your tongue,
the best part.
Oh yeah, the sticky tongue feature.
Yeah.
Or if you hit your tongue on something, then that thing will stick to your tongue, and then you of course can whip it around, and your tongue is kind of like a big rubber band. You can just take out everything, and the point appears to be you need to take out everything around you. You have to destroy things in interesting ways. You get style points and stuff.
It's funny. It kind of looked a lot like Octodad. Well, like the fun of it is in how hard it is to control and how dumb it looks when you're controlling it.
Oh, Gully, we've got a Nick. By the way, your internet is poopy again. But I am going to have you seen the trailer of it, Gully?
You know, I think I have. I saw something about it somewhere, and it's like, first I was like, "Oh, that sounds pretty stupid." Then I saw the trailer or some images. Like, you know, this actually isn't very intriguing. It looked like it could be very silly fun. Mm-hmm. So yes,
I am going to send you. If I can get onto YouTube for some reason, is YouTube down? There we go. I'm going to send you a link, and I'm going to make you on the show right now watch the Goat Simulator, whatchamacallit, the trailer, just the trailer. So hold on a moment. I am sending it to you as we speak. If you have, listeners, if you have not seen it, just go to YouTube and look up Goat Simulator, and I think it's called Goat Simulator Coming to Steam Pre-Order Trailer. That's what you want to say.
All right, so it's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. All right. I've sent it. It is in the Skype notes. Go ahead and check it out. And Nick and I will talk about the rest of our games and then, of course, listen to you laughing maniacally. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to is a combination of medical marijuana and goat simulating. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but...
Oh, yes, I have seen this. This is awesome. It reminds me of... Saints Row 4.
Right.
The ragdoll physics.
Oh, right. Exactly.
This is going to be fun. I just hope you can use a controller for it, you know, instead of just the PC.
Yeah.
Even though I was practicing a little bit, getting a little bit better at the PC.
I think former was probably a little more accurate.
Yeah, no, when I was playing the PC stuff there, I was getting a little bit better. I actually bought a little controller, or not a controller, but like one of those side things you plug in that's got the buttons, and you can kind of control it a little bit easier than a keyboard, and it actually takes some of the relief off your keyboard too. Yeah. So I was getting a little bit better at that with the little add-on thing. But no, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm totally psyched about that. So, and then of course, I've also, if we want to get into what are you playing, I'm also playing, I picked up Thief. Go ahead.
What we're playing?
Yeah.
Tell a quick little technology story.
Yes.
Okay. So this Sunday, I'm scheduled to go to the Boston Garden, to broadcast some of the high school championship games. Yeah, this is probably one of my biggest gigs I've had in many years. So I'm all excited. I'm scheduled to. Now, again, anything can change between now and then, but I'm scheduled to. So anyway, this week, Monday night, the town I live in, I've been here a better part of 20 years off and on, you know. They were in the semifinals, and if they won, they were going to the Boston Garden Sunday, and I was like, oh, how cool would it be to broadcast my own town? Okay, maybe make some connections with the team of people locally here, be kind of neat. It's your own town in the finals at the Boston Garden, and I was going to try to broadcast them. So Monday night, they're in the semifinals, and someone else was streaming this game. It wasn't my crew, it was someone else's crew. So I get home from food shopping. I was like, oh, let me see if I can catch the end of this game to see if they're going to win. So I fire up the PS4, and I was going to go to the web browser and see if I could watch it on the big TV on the web browser, right? So I'm upstairs on her PS4, right? Fire it up. Can't log in the PS4. I'm like, what? So I'm like doing all these things, sign in again, check this, check. I'm like, oh, I can't. I was like, I can't waste any more time because the game's going to be ending, and I want to see the end of the game. So, okay, fine. Forget about the PS4. Turn on the Xbox 360, her Xbox 360, right? Can't connect to Xbox Live. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Well, then there's something wrong with your internet.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I was like, okay, what's going on? So I checked my phone. It's like, no, it looks like I have internet here. I'm like, okay, something's going on. I go, what are the chances that, no, in the internet, because we have an internet radio, okay? And when we come home, we put it on when we go out. We put it on for the dogs, so they have something to listen to. So we put on internet radio, soft music, whatever. That was playing when we come home. So I know the internet was working because we were streaming music.
Right.
Some reason PSN, they I guess they were down, but they were supposedly at 6 o'clock my time they were back up, and this was like 6:30. So I'm thinking maybe it was like a bleed over, whatever. Couldn't get that. But then I couldn't sign into Xbox 360, and I'm banging my head. I'm like, okay, going out of my mind right now. It's like, what else can not work? On my new TV upstairs is a web browser. That locked up the TV.
Oh, one of the internal web browsers on the TV, not.
Yep. So I tried the PS4. That wouldn't sign in. I tried the Xbox 360.
Right, because the TV was signed in.
No, not at all. The TV is separate. The TV is the last thing I went to. I called up the apps and went to the web browser to try to call that up. So I had 3 different sources upstairs. I tried to get online to a web browser, and all 3 failed me.
Uh-huh.
So I just shut off the PS4, shut off the 360, shut off the TV, turned it on. TV was fine. It just I couldn't get the apps to work. Whatever. I'm like, okay, so let me just get downstairs on the laptop and just watch it on the laptop, which I didn't want to do, but I will. So I fired up the laptop I got a year ago. Hard drive fails. Is there any? What? The hard drive went. It's like 2. It's a big hard drive, and it's got the 2 SSD drives on it.
Right.
The operating system, one of the SSD drives failed, and I was getting all these error message. It's like everything I touch is breaking. I says, I am not touching my dick tonight. All right. No way. Okay. I'm just, and the dog, CJ, come on, CJ, don't touch me. I'm deaf right now. Everything I touch is dying. So what are the chances a PS4 won't sign in, an Xbox 360 won't sign in, the TV app browser won't work, and then my laptop failed. Now, my laptop was actually connected to the internet with a cord, but the hard drive fails. Are you kidding me?
So what was the solution? What was locking up your whole internet?
I don't know. I ended up going over to the computer I'm on now, which is my work computer, which is a desktop, and I get on and I caught like the last 3 minutes of the game. I was like, are you kidding? Because the stream somehow, how they set it up, it won't stream on the phone or the iPad. It has to be a computer. I don't get it. It's streaming. I don't get it, but that's how it was set up with them. So I caught the last few minutes of the game, and my team won, yay, so they're going to go to the final Sunday. But I was like, are you kidding me? Are you friggin' kidding me? 4 pieces of technology failed within 15 minutes of each other. And then, of course, the next morning, I get up and tried them all, and everything worked except the laptop. I had to get on tech support. There was something about I had to hit a reset button on the it was weird. It was a software thing that we corrected on the phone. It was kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But ironically, when I look back at my warranty ends Friday. The 1-year warranty ends Friday. So I'm going to keep playing around with it and making sure that it doesn't fail again. You know,
you need to break that drive right now.
No, I need to do something to get it back to him in a hurry. But
you need to pith it like a frog, dissecting frog in high school. Seriously, you need to just stick something in its brain and just scramble it.
Again, next week, I'm SOL. I know. What are the chances all this technology fails me all at once? It's like getting 4 flat tires in your car. It's like, what are the chances you go out and all 4 are flat from all different things? You know, it's not like you ran over a whole bunch of nails. It's like this one hit a branch and this one hit this, and oh man, I mean, that's just perfect. And then the next day it's all fine, right? When I needed it, when I needed you, you weren't there. You know,
the spirits are fucking with you. That's what it is. The spirits are fucking with you.
So yeah, it was So I'm like trying to keep my cool, and like CJ's coming. I'm like, don't CJ, I'm gonna throw you across the room, and it's not, it has nothing to do with you, but it's just this is ridiculous.
Oh, our dogs are such convenient targets for your frustrations, aren't they?
But I was starting to get like really loud, like, you gotta be kidding me. Anything else? She's like, what's the matter? Says, the Xbox won't work, the PlayStation won't work, the TV won't work, and now my laptop just busted. That's nice, dear. PlayStation's on. Xbox on. Laptop broke. Where's the turkey? I want to throw it down at the garbage disposal. So it's been good times over here. Real good.
I can tell. Poor baby.
The next morning, I actually got the computer company on the phone, tech support, and the guy's like, all right, before we send it back, let's walk through some things, right? All right, first thing I want you to do. CJ, shut up. First thing I want. Ding dong, someone's at the door. Hit what? Delete. Hit F7. F5. Ding dong, someone's at the door. F4. I can't hear. Oh. The entire 7 or 8 minutes I was on tech support, that's all I heard was fucking DJ barking at somebody.
Ladies and gentlemen of GameHounds listeners, that is your new ringtone.
And then, of course, we finally solved the problem. And he comes downstairs and he settles down on the couch nice and neat.
Like what? I didn't do anything. Another job done well. Thank you.
I'm stressing out. Here I am. I finally get the guy on the phone 2 days before the warranty ends. We're trying to fix it, and I can't hear a word he's saying. And I'm stressing out because and these guys don't talk great English anyway,
Oh, yeah. Tech support.
So it's like, and I think they're actually a French company because when they sent me like the email, it was really weird spelling of a lot of words,
Yeah.
And I was like, and when I called them, it's like, for French, press the wall. I'm like, hello? So
well, I'm glad that it all got itself sorted out. I have been noticing, actually, kind of related to that, the PlayStation 4 servers, the chat servers, have been goofy lately.
Everything's been goofy with PlayStation. They've had more maintenance downtime than recently. I mean, I figured they'd have it all sorted out by now, or at least close. But it seems like every day they're down. We apologize, we're down. We apologize, we're updating. We apologize. Gee, but just make it work.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on because I have never seen any notice. But what I have found, like there was a whole night I was completely locked out, couldn't create a party, and nobody else could create a party, and that was a couple of weeks ago. And then even last night, tried to create a party and couldn't create the party, and then tried again, and it did work. So I think there's something going on with their servers.
Oh,
and of course,
Xbox
Xbox One's got issues with its servers big time.
I have heard that the Twitch streaming with Dead Nation is particularly iffy. Like that has been causing basically like twitching with Dead Nation consistently crashes the game.
Really? I have not heard that because I didn't Twitch Dead Nation last night. Huh. Interesting. But that's just the game getting crashed, right?
Yeah, just the game, not PSN.
Not the PSN. Yeah, the PSN has been off and on and iffy, and Titanfall obviously is having some severe issues on the Xbox One network. They've got.
Although that seems to be resolved.
Is it
by now? Yeah, I see a bunch of news stories that say all clear.
Yeah, because it was yesterday. It was
just one night
making life hell for everybody.
Yeah, they just
what's weird about last night too? I couldn't connect to the Dark Souls server.
Yeah,
on 360.
Oh, right.
Like I could connect to Xbox Live, but I couldn't connect to the games server.
That is odd. There's something. Yeah, there's some gremlins, and it's not specific to either console. There are definitely some gremlins at work.
If you follow them on Twitter, I think it's PlayStation or PlayStation Support or something. They're always got something on there like, "Oh, we apologize. We're working on something. It should be up any time now." So it's like it's constant the fixing of PlayStation. I haven't been on much late, so I haven't noticed it just because I haven't been on till Monday night, and then that happened, and then Xbox didn't work either. So I was like, maybe there's something going on in my house. Who the hell knows? Yeah. But I've noticed that PlayStation's been having issues one way or another quite a bit.
Yeah. So, but back to what we're playing. I played Thief. I bought Thief. Playing Thief. It's a good game. Not a great game.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. It's a good game. If something better come out, I would absolutely
jump to it. Yeah. But I think that the problem with it is it does it's got enough features in the game that are not inventing the wheel. They're been done, and they've been done better by other games. And then they went to reinvent the wheel with the control scheme, so the controls are awkward.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, really? I really like the controls. I like how he moves through the city. I think that's the best part of the game.
No. I think that they've
kind of first-person parkour.
I like the first-person parkour, but things like, okay, when you're running, and I really felt it the other night because I went from Thief to playing Assassin's Creed multiplayer. And everything is reversed from Assassin's Creed multiplayer. If they took that same scheme and reversed everything, left hand goes to right hand goes to left hand, it would have been actually much more comfortable because it's a no-brainer as far as when to run. Like the fact that you have to hold R2 or 1 to run. I forget. No, it's R2 to run. Yeah, that's it. R2 to run, but in every other game you hold R1 to run. It seems, yeah. Go play an hour of Thief and then turn around and immediately go play an hour of Assassin's Creed, and you'll see. So
I did not notice. I thought
it's opposite.
R2 was run in Assassin's Creed.
No, it's opposite. Whatever it is, it's opposite. Trust me on that one. Trust me.
It's left trigger, I think it is, or right trigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You put it pretty well. That's kind of how that's how a lot of people
it's a good game, and it's confusing. They don't do a really good job of letting you know how to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's confusing as hell, right? And the map doesn't help.
The map is a terrible map. Yeah. Oh my god, you can't set a waypoint. You can't actually even scroll around the map. The only controls you have on the map is to change your objective. The objectives being your different the different jobs you have. And then frequently you'll have a job, but you can't possibly do that job because you don't have the equipment. And if you find someone to sell you the right equipment, you will only be able to afford some of the equipment, and then you can't freaking find that guy later. Because you have no idea where you found him because the map sucks. And he doesn't get marked on the map. You can't highlight him on the map.
So much like that other game we talked about on the Xbox 360, Dishonored. It's an exact replica of it. Like I say, it doesn't invent anything. It doesn't do anything terrible. Doesn't do anything better. It's a nice sneaking around type of game.
And you don't even really have to sneak around. That's the other thing, which I've kind of enjoyed about this game, is that I can just walk up.
You kind of do.
Well, you can't just walk up.
Those guys will mess you up.
Right, but you can get away from them super easy if you get low.
Oh yeah.
And health is plentiful. But I don't like this. Even the sneaking doesn't seem very consistent. Like you can sneak up behind someone pretty easily, and even people sitting in chairs, but you don't know where their peripheral vision, and it's not consistent of where the peripheral vision works. And for one example, there was a guy that I was sneaking up on, and he was leaning back against a post inside a room, and there were 3 guys, and I could get behind the post, which would block the other 2 guys from seeing him, and I could actually get right up next to him. I'm looking at him right up next to him, eye to eye, at his ear, and I couldn't take him down because it just wouldn't let you take him down. But if you do that to somebody in a chair, you can take him down. It didn't seem very consistent as far as what you can take down and what you can't take down. But I'm I'm enjoying it. It's an interesting story.
I love the thieving. Oh, the story.
Yeah, I really love the story, the thieving, going into other people's houses and sneaking through. Yeah,
it's really fun when it kind of starts adding traps and you really have to think about where to go, or just like the way that it kind of hides things in rooms, and you have to like climb up on desks and climb over into corners in order to find the things you're looking for.
Right.
Like the thieving part of Thief is the best part,
and there's not enough of it, which is really funny. Thief should have more thieving.
Yeah. It's almost too much of a stealth game and not enough much of a game.
Yeah, I just wish it had a little bit more open world. Oh, and freaking the gates. The fact that all the gates are barred and then you have to find ways around them, but you can't find ways around them because the maps are impossible to read. So it's like, I knew I got into this area. I got in, but I can't figure out how to get out.
Yeah, it's the maps are like a big square, and you like I've actually the map I'm on. I don't know where the hell I am. It all looks the same.
Yeah.
And I ended up I had to get to the gate too, get somewhere, and I ended up going around the whole map like 3 or 4 times. Like I didn't even realize. I was like, okay, I found this hidden passage. Great, I come over here. I'm right back to where I was. and then it's like, I'm gonna go over here, come around here, sneak around, go by the guard. I'm right back to where I was.
Yes.
Oh, Cleveland.
Yes.
Hello, Cleveland.
You just keep on walking in circles. Yeah. It's almost a great game. Almost a great game, but it's
a good game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say great.
It's almost a really good game.
I played it to the end. It's not a great game.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a good game at best.
Yeah, all right.
It has a lot of interesting things that it tries to do, but it just doesn't quite.
It doesn't quite get there. Yeah.
What did Dom DeLuise say in History of the World? It's nice, not thrilling, but nice. So I have no problems playing it. It's just if this,
I'm waiting. It's a space keeper for the next big game.
Mm-hmm.
Which you guys hear Strike Suit Zero is coming out on PlayStation 4?
No.
That was a big goalie game last year at PAX East. Remember I come home and I bought that right away, the little space shooting game?
Yep.
It was one of the last things we did at PAX East, was like one of the last nights. We were just kind of roaming around. We went our own way, and I ended up going to the PC area because I was like, okay, I'm going to look into PC gaming. I was like, what's this space game this guy's playing? He's flying around the ship. And I actually got on it and played it. It was Strike Suit Zero. I was like, oh, this is so fun. So I bought it on the PC, and I've been playing it. I was like, yeah, it's coming off a PS4. Like, this is going to be awesome on PS4. I'm so excited that some games like Octodad and Strike Suit Zero coming to PS4. So I'm going to gobble up that. And I think that's coming out this month, I think, too. So if you're into space flying games, this is a fun little one.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I mean, I'm getting tired of little games. I really want a big game now. The last really big game. Well, I guess Thief is technically a big game.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But really, the last big satisfying game was Assassin's Creed.
Well, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time ago.
I just did Tomb Raider. If you've done that, that's a big game. That's
that's right.
When you're done with
Tomb Raider to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I know. Okay, I'll do it.
You're done with that, you want to smoke a cigarette. You really do.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll go get Tomb Raider today.
I had a Camel, actually.
And the other thing I played was Dead Nation.
Is that the top-down one, double stick?
Yep.
Thing?
Yep. Top down, double stick. Multiplayer. I played the multiplayer. Did not play the campaign.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. If you love those top down shooters, that's great. It reminded me very much of what's XCOM, Enemy Unknown, but not turn based. Obviously, it's a shooter. But
I didn't care for XCOM, and I saw that and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. It's not my. But it looks like. I mean, it plays well. It's fun. I'm sure for somebody who really digs that kind of game, especially old school kind of playing. The When you start the game in multiplayer, you can choose, and I don't know if this is the campaign either, but you choose, there's 3 directions you can choose initially, and each of the 3 directions have a choice within that direction of 2 different attributes, whether it's money or armor, health, or or guns, and I think forgot what the third one was. But you go down that pathway, and then you can choose one of those 2 pathways inside to go down. So you can go down and get money, and at the end of your campaign, you will have a significant amount of money. Somewhere in that path, there's going to be a place that gives you tons of money, or gives you armor, or gives you new guns, or gives you
like
ammo.
Leveling up a character?
Yeah, it's kind of like where you get new armor every time you go through the armor path.
But is your character persistent?
Yeah.
Across multiple playthroughs?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would assume so. So, yeah, but that's actually a very good question, because that's another thing, is you cannot pick whether your character is male or female, because there's a male character and a female character. So it's only 2-person I played co-op. Yeah, you can't choose. Like, if I come in as the first one, I play the male character, and then if I host the party, and then if I invite somebody else, that person comes in as the female character. But I couldn't see anywhere where I could play the female character and invite somebody in and have him maybe be male. It was very odd. So maybe you don't have a persistent character. I couldn't tell you. But
the neatest thing about that game is that the Twitch stream is interactive, and I watched some people do it, and it's basically like, for a viewer, there's a little option where you select, basically the game will present viewers with 2 options, like A or B, and the viewer gets to select A or B, and one will be give the players more health, or give them more zombie hordes.
I just think that's genius.
And it's the poll it's basically a poll, and it'll stay up for about a minute, and whichever option gets the most votes, kind of the one that happens. And then, a few minutes later, another poll will start, which is 2 different things, one good, one bad, and people can vote on that. And it's a really interesting idea, just for making the Twitch stream interactive. Seems really cool. And there's another game coming out, I think next month, called Daylight.
Oh, yes.
That's it's kind of an Outlast-like horror game, but it's procedurally generated, and it also is interactive. So imagine playing Outlast with a community that's trolling you. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Well, the Twitch streams have had a lot of that interactive play. I guess, what were they playing? Zelda? Was it Zelda? No. Pokemon, that's what it was. And it was several other, and that's kind of become the new thing now, is to go on and complete a game by crowd playing a game. And I
watched some of that Twitch plays Pokemon. That really is, the fact that they were able to beat the game is miraculous.
Really?
Because, oh God. Watching, because it takes every input from the chat and implements it in the game. But, sometimes every action has a reaction in the game.
Right.
So, if someone's pushing left, and someone pushes A, the menu will pop up.
Right.
And then, but you can't go left in the menu. So, all those left commands don't happen.
Yeah.
But now, you can't do anything until someone hits B to go out of the menu.
Oh.
And so it's just, you're watching people open menus, close menu, open menu, close menu, walk around in circles, open menu, close menu, open. It's how the hell does anything get done? It's
I can imagine.
A miracle.
By the way, Nick, at the end of this show, before we do happy endings, I'm going to insist that you go over and restart your router.
Can you not understand me?
It's challenging. Seriously, you never listen to the GameHounds podcast, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably should. If only to hear yourself. So that you could go, my God, I need to do something about that. Am I right, Goalie?
I have
yeah,
3 bars on the internet.
I think when you're talking, you're fine. But I think what's happening is it's like you're talking and then you drop out for a second, and then you're talking and then you drop out for a second, then you're talking and you drop out for a second. So it's looking at the 3 bars of when you're actually talking and it gets through. But when it drops out, you don't see it because it happens so fast. You need to restart your router, and then one of these days you should listen to your own podcast so you can hear what you sound like. Just saying. Love you.
But I'm on the podcast. I know what happens.
No, you don't. Clearly you don't. That's what I'm saying.
You know when you go to the drive-thru, place your order, the guy confirms back to you. That's what you sound like a lot of the times.
But they've really improved those, and
You just
it sounds
whatever.
so good.
Just give me the cheeseburger, dude. I don't care what. Put something in the bag.
Burger? Huh.
Can I get
Eyes?
a number 3?
Number
No,
three.
I don't want an apple pie. No. Fine.
Give me the apple pie. Just give me the fucking apple pie.
Pie. Super size. I don't care. Watch your dimes. I don't know. Anyway.
So yeah. Anyway, so what else did we play? Anything else?
South Park.
Oh yes, South Park. I'm so excited to hear about this.
All right. I've got quite a bit of hours into this game. Having some fun with it. Let me see. Where can I start? So much to say. I'll try to make it quick, though. Everything you've read as far as reviews, everything you've heard as far as reviews, at least I have, has been spot on with this.
All right.
Okay? If you like South Park, you will love this game. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I will say there are a few things that, especially early in the game, that almost had me rage quit. And I'm glad I didn't, but the frustrations that I have, I'm not alone, and I'm kind of happy with that. So first off, it fooled me because it's an RPG. It's not whatever. It's RPG. And the last game I played with that South Park Tower Defense, where you just kind of built towers and threw snowballs, and it was kind of fun. You sit back and you're like, throwing snowballs and listen to the South Park guys. So I was expecting something really easy to play, and this is not an easy game to play. Mm-hmm. It's an RPG, and it's a decent one too. It's I don't want to say it's Skyrim deep, but it made you feel like Skyrim because you choose your class, and then as you play the game, you loot things, you find things, you have a helmet, you have armor, you have gloves, you pick your weapon, you can modify your weapons like with shock things like Dead Island. It gets pretty deep. I mean, again, I hate to say it this way, but it's a South Park game. It's not Skyrim. You know what I mean? It's not Dead Island. So I was expecting something light, and this is not a light game by any means. You really got to get involved with it if you want to defeat some of these enemies. So that was the first thing that kind of fooled me. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know how to play it. I didn't know what was going on at first. And even the first battle was turn-based. I have a real hard time with turn-based. Skyrim was so good. You just swing the sword and beat the crap out of the guy. And turn-based is kind of like you sit and you wait your turn.
You kind of have to think about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. So I had a real hard time in the combat at first. I was like, oh, this is real clunky. And as funny as the game is, oh my gosh, it's like you're in an episode of South Park. And you're watching it, but you're playing it at the same time. It is hysterical. The little things that they do. The soundtrack is awesome, and you just laugh when you hear it. And all the stereotypes. It's just South Park in its truest form, making fun of the same things. And it is really well done with that point. I'm surprised how well done it is. If you're not a South Park fan, you really might not like this game. But if you've ever watched it or remotely like it is true to the show. It's true to all the characters. Most of the characters I've ever seen are involved somehow, some way. It's highly recommended But let me tell you about some of the frustrations I've had that a lot of people are having. Number one, like I said, it's an RPG, so you're going to get involved. This is not for the casual player. It's involved. Number two, there's you have different people in your party. Right now, I'm allowed one person in my party. I don't know if I can allow more at some point, but right now I have one. And I got stuck. And I got stuck real early in the game on a quest. And there was nothing else I could do in the game. And I was stuck in the school. And I had no clue what to do. And for 15 minutes, I walked around the map and did this and checked doors. And I truly was stuck. And I got really pissed off about that. So I went online. And other people posted the same thing, like, I'm stuck at the school. What do you do? Well, lo and behold, you had to change party members to trigger an event.
Oh.
And I had no idea whatsoever to do that. I never would have thought about that. So that was my first really frustrating moment was, why? Why do this? You know what I mean? It's like, soon as I change party members, it's like, bing, the cutscene went off. You know, like, okay, now we can get through this part. It's like, but I walked around forever. I'm missing something. I'm just missing something. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing something wrong, blah, 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 blah. No, I had the wrong party member. And I almost quit the game because I was stuck.
Right.
I really was. I was like, okay, when you're stuck and you've tried everything. Okay, so I went online and everybody had the same thing. So, yeah. So the first thing is that they didn't do a good job of explaining the party members and what they do and what you need them for. So I was really bummed out about that because each one does like a different thing, and they don't explain that.
Right.
Second of all is just the LB and the RB buttons can, like, there's different menu things that they control, and they didn't really explain that too well. I didn't think. If they did, I passed over it and didn't pick up on it. So there's a few things I really wish they walked you through a little bit better. And someone might be listening and say, oh, they did, but I didn't pick up on it. Okay, so the learning curve for this game, at least for me, not being an RPG guy, has been pretty steep. And I'm still confused. Even in combat, I mostly just use my melee weapon or my sword. I don't know how to use a lot of the other things. I just don't. I don't know how to use them at all. So for me, this has been a very, very steep learning curve. And I find that you have to swap abilities quite often, meaning that the left bumper, there's you can shoot like an arrow. And if you shoot an enemy and then go attack them, you get the first shot and they're stunned. So you can kind of like set up the battle that way, whereas you take them out before you go into the battle and they're stunned. But then you got to click the button and you can actually teleport with an alien technology thing. So you're constantly like shooting and then hit the button to so you hit the you transport a short distance with this alien technology, which I don't want to give away because it's part of the story.
Yeah, don't.
But you can actually like do a short little teleport, and then you hit the bumper again to call your party member to do their specific job, and they didn't really. I'm still learning all that, and that's kind of the frustration part of the game. But like I said, I'm learning how to do the fighting. I'm learning how to use the bumper button to swap that. The point that I really almost quit the game is when the tutorials are brutal. When they come up to the point and say, I'm going to show you how to do this. 15 to 20 times easy. Mm-hmm. It's taking me to do this to a point like controllers flying across the room. I'm walking away going, what do I got to do?
Yeah.
If it's this difficult to pull off this maneuver, I'm not going to get through this game. And specifically when they show you how to fight. Okay, yes, you fought in this game, and there's 3 different ways you can fight, and they run you through them all, and they make it way too difficult.
Oh, what a shame!
It's like hold down the right stick, not push in, but push down, like down arrow on the right stick. Mm-hmm. So rotate the left stick until it's just right, and then push up on the right stick.
Oh, really?
And it's like fail. All right, let me show you one more time. So they do it, and I do it, and I fail. All right, let me show you one more time, and I do it, and it's like, what am I doing wrong? And you can't get through the game until you pass the tutorial.
Right.
And then when I actually got it right, I didn't know what I did to make it right. So I was like, wow. And 3 times did that because there's 3 different ways you can do a fart thing or whatever you want to call it. There's 3 different farts in the game. And they're all almost identical. almost all identical, and I kept failing the tutorial, right? When you get into the game and actually use it, it's way easier than the tutorial. It's uncanny that I kept failing the tutorial, but when I actually get into the game, first try, I do it. No problem. It's really weird, and a lot of people said they had the same thing. That's like it took forever to get through the tutorial on how to learn how to do the fart spells or whatever it is. So it was so frustrating. But once I got through it, and now I can do them without a problem. But it's like, why did they make them so friggin' difficult in the tutorial?
Especially, yeah, it's really supposed to be the easiest part.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, if I can't even get through the tutorial, how am I going to get through the game?
Yeah, exactly. If I ever have to use this fart, which you do, you know, you have to use everything in this game. So, I mean, you got to call on your buddy in a party to do something. Then you need to use the alien teleport thing to get to certain parts. And then you need to use the fart to blow things up. So you need them all. And I'm like, man, if I can't get through this, I'm not going to get through this game at all. But when you actually get into the game and use it, for some reason, it's just way easier than what the tutorial had you do.
Yeah.
It really is. That's I guess that would be the bad. The bad is the tutorials. So if you can stick it through the tutorials, the actual in-game use is so much easier than the tutorials. So 95% of this game is awesome, fantastic, it's hilarious. And then there's 5% that it's like, oh my God, just can I skip this? You know, and you can't. You have to get it right. And it's literally 15, 20 times on some of these things. And you just I don't like to, that's just my thing. It's like, I don't have a lot of time to play these games. So if I sit down, if I got to take 5 or 10 minutes to get through to learn how to fart in a game, it's frustrating. It really is. It takes a lot of the enjoyment out of the game. But the rest of the game is fun. I've actually enjoyed the RPG. You got to change your clothes sometimes to do certain events. It's like, you need to change into this to do this. And then, when you're done, you can go back in and put on your heavy armor or whatever it is. So, I mean, you have armor, you have your weapons that you can modify. You pick up all these things during the game. You loot things all over the place. So, like I said, you can choose to add a shock mod if you like. You can, different weapons. It's really fun, and it's all in the South Park theme.
Yeah.
And it is really, really funny and really fun to play, except for those tutorials, which...
So actually the tutorials are really worse than the game itself.
The tutorials are horrible.
But the game itself is easier to play than the tutorial.
It's much easier to play, but it is an RPG, and it is... I find myself, like I say, confused sometimes. Like, what do I... Okay, I got to hit the alien thing, then I got to hit the fart, and then I got to tell my buddy what to do. It's like, wow. It's like you're really thinking about it all. And some of the combat is frustrating because you'll have 2 party members and you're fighting 4 enemies and they just wipe you out. And you're like, man, what am I supposed to do when they wipe you out in round 1 and you haven't got a shot off, So, I mean, there is some frustrating points of the combat as well. But all in all, the game's kind of fun. It's very true to the South Park. All the characters there, they all have their own one-liners. And probably the best part about the game is the menu system. Okay, so follow this. When you go to the menu, it almost appears like Facebook. Okay, on the left is your character. It tells you what level you are, how many friends you got. Because during the game, people friend request you. And the more friends you get, the more perks you can apply to your character. Because like I said, it's RPG. So you have perks, you have magic, you have, all these little things that you upgrade and you can select. So if you get 5 friends, you get your first perk. 10 friends, next perk. So you're friending people. So it looks like the menu looks like Facebook. And then as you tab over, you go from your friends to your inventory to your quests, to your map, to your party members, to your collectibles. And during the game, you get little messages from people that are your friends. And so you can click right to the menu and it's like, Cartman says this and 4 people like it.
Right.
And it's
so did they actually have status updates?
Yes, they do. And some of them are hysterical. The whole Mr. Hanky, your friend Mr. Hanky and his wife. Shit that they post because she's a big drunk. So she'll post something and he'll respond like, honey, you don't put that stuff out on social media.
She's the what do they call that? Something cat.
Fisher cat.
Fisher cat. Yeah, no, she's a Fisher cat.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so just reading some of the posts are hilarious, and it's like someone see who likes the post, and I don't think you can create a post, but you can just read their post, and that just adds to the fun element of the game. Is just reading some of the posts. Cartman. Like a token posts something, okay, a token in the game is like, Cartman, you can't change my role from Templar to blacksmith. Mm-hmm. And Cartman's like, I just look at you and I think blacksmith. And then like Stan likes it. Like that, So, but it's just, and there's all these funny references. I mean, and you can go into most every house of the main characters in the game. So you can go into Cartman's mother's bedroom, and it's just hilarious, the stuff that's in there. You go to Kenny's house. It just, everything about South Park is in there. It's just fun going into some of the places. There's not a lot to do in these places, but it is fun kind of walking through it and seeing it just as the show has it. But then again, they add a whole bunch of things. And there's all this swearing in there. There's no bleeping. All the swears are there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't want to say it's a perfect game because if the tutorials weren't as ridiculous as they were, it would be really close to a perfect game because it is so much fun when you're playing. But the tutorials bring it down, and it didn't quite explain the buddy thing and how to get through some of the places with that very well. But all in all, yeah.
Like,
what kind of
get through?
Yeah, get through that. You find. And what was funny is that I bought it and I put it upstairs on her Xbox. I just wanted to try it, and I just every chance I get, I jump on and play a few minutes, and so I play it on her Xbox, so she's getting all the achievements on it. So I might bring it downstairs and play it on my Xbox. I'm not sure, but yeah, every chance I get. I do play the South Park game. It's that fun. It's that type of game that you get up in the morning and like, before I go to work, I'm going to play like 15, 20 minutes, or before I go to bed, I'm going to play a few minutes. It's that type. Thief doesn't drag me in like that. South Park does.
Cool.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
That can do that. That's a sign of a good game.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. That's very awesome.
Yeah, so I hope I answered all your questions about it. Just be prepared. Some of the tutorials. I mean, some of you guys might blast right through it and not have an issue. Say, I don't know what you're talking about. Me, I had a hard time, and some of the other shows and some of the other reviews I read said the same thing. The tutorials were just ridiculous, and that when you actually applied it, they weren't hard at all.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that gives me hope because when I heard it's like, wait, I couldn't even do it. It's like, all right, I'm not going to get that game. No way. So I hate to use stars, but or a rating score, but out of 10, what would you give it?
I got between 9 and 10. Again,
wow.
The tutorials do add the frustration you get with them. It's ridiculous how frustrating it is, and how many times I've almost walked away because I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. You just like and there's a couple other things like even you can actually go into the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Oh, that was one other thing. There was one other thing that you had to mash the A button. Okay, and I ain't gonna say what you were doing at the time, but
I want to know.
It was hilarious. Let me just say it was fucking hilarious. I don't like to swear on the show, but you had so there was 2 stages to this one part, and I mashed the A button and success, and then they went to the second stage, and I couldn't hit the A button fast enough. And it was kind of stupid too. It was like, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to hit the A button, but I failed it 5, 6 times in a row because I just couldn't hit it fast enough.
Yeah.
It's like, can I just skip? Okay, I failed 5 times. I know what to do. I'm just not doing it fast enough. Can I just skip this?
Right.
They really need to, and this goes for all games, and I've said this before. If you fail something, let's just say 5 times, something that's simple like that, like hitting a button in succession or whatever, they really need to give the option just to skip over it.
Right, they should.
Because you know what to do, and just because you can't hit the button fast enough or hit the buttons in combination fast enough, they shouldn't just keep making you do it over and over and over and over and over, So eventually I had to take the controller, put it on my lap, and I actually used my index finger, and I freaking just kept ramming the button like that. And that's the only way I got through it because my thumb didn't hit it fast enough. It was really weird how you had to hold the controller just to get through this part of the game. So there's a couple of big roadblocks in this game that prevent it from, getting a ridiculously high score from me. Yeah, all in all, it's really fun. Get Jimmy the Cripple's in there, and he plays his lute, and you almost play like a Guitar Hero, a Rock Band type of game where you got to hit the buttons to the notes. That was kind of fun. All these little, it's really so fun. But when you hit the roadblocks, yeah, you want that medicinal marijuana to just compound, okay? Because it makes no sense why they make certain things that difficult.
All right, well, I'll keep that in mind.
Big high marks if you keep in mind the roadblocks.
There was a recent game that came out, the new Castlevania game.
Yeah.
And it was, I watched some videos of it, and it was interesting because kind of like God of War, it had all these, quick time events like that where, you hit an enemy and he's blocking it and you have to mash the A button in order to, break through his guard and attack him and things like that. But then I guess there's the option in that game to turn off all quick time events so that you just don't do that. And like any scene that there would be a quick time event, you just automatically win it instantly.
Huh.
And that seemed like a really interesting way of getting around that problem. Is just, hey, you know what? Turn it off if you want to.
But just give me the option. If I've tried something 5 times and I've failed, I still want to play your game. Give me. Okay, I can't get through this part. Give me the option to continue on with your game so I don't quit.
Right.
Because I can't get through this. I can't hit the A button fast enough, or I can't do this fast enough. Maybe I'm just not that coordinated, whatever. But if you put that up, you say, well, you can't continue on the game until you do this. That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. All right, so we got 8 minutes before we want to leave. You want to just take everything over to the news, over to the happy endings?
Yeah, well, I got a couple games that I want to mention.
Yeah.
I played Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2.
Oh, don't tell me anything. And? Don't tell me anything.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
It's a good episode, but there's one thing that really, really annoys me.
Okay.
To the point where I kind of lose faith in the writers to just tell a good story.
All right. Is it something you could tell me without wrecking the story for me?
It's basically just kind of a surprise.
All right.
Like, it's kind of a little twist of like, oh, hey.
All right, so you can't tell me. And that's fine. Thank you for letting me know.
You could probably tell us, and you'd be cutting out so much we wouldn't hear it anyway. Tell us the whole story. Really? And then.
That's exactly what I said.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's not cutting out. That's pretty accurate.
Oh, that would be funny if that's not like somebody really talked in life. That'd be hilarious. But that's just how I talk.
Like the Picasso print where it's like, oh man, I don't know where Picasso gets his ideas. And then you look at the woman and she looks just like a Picasso print with 2 eyes on the side of her head. Yep. That's exactly how Nick sounds. All right. Well, okay. And then what was the other thing you wanted to mention?
Mainly that. And then everything else I've played is stuff I've also played. I've started Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I know. Clearly.
I mean, I can't talk about it much here because, I mean, no one cares about Dark Souls.
I kind of want to.
It's kind of more, it's more of the same, but slightly different in little ways, but big ways.
Uh-huh.
Like, every time you die, your health bar goes down a little bit until it reaches half, and it will stay there until you use this fairly rare item to restore it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in case you didn't feel like the game hated you enough, there's that. But it's got all the things that make Dark Souls so satisfying. The combat's really good. The level design's great. The atmosphere is spooky. It's great. I'm loving it.
Good deal.
And more Fire Emblem.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was playing next to my dad. Was Fire Emblem. So.
I put it on casual, and man, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing it on casual. It does make a difference. It's so much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, casual isn't the difficulty. Like, you're not putting it on easy mode.
No.
You're just taking off permanent death, which,
Right. The first time I played it, I played it casual, and I was so glad that I did, because if I'd have had permanent death, then I would have not had nearly the fun that I did.
half your characters would have died.
Most of my characters would be dead now. Oh yeah, because I've killed Crom a number of times. That's the only thing you have to worry about in casual mode, is if Crom dies, then the game is over.
Yeah.
So you have to essentially protect him while still trying to level him up, which is a little bit of a challenge on its own. But yeah, it's you can mine the relationship so much easier when you have when you don't have to worry about killing, getting somebody like married to someone and then killing them off by mistake. Oops. Like, you forgot to give him, you gave him a sword that was on the verge of breaking. Fuck! I hate when that happens.
Like, the relationships now are at a higher point. I'm at the same point now when I was in the previous game.
Uh-huh.
But the relationships for everyone are so much higher, and the levels are so much higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a much, much easier game to play that way.
Yes.
All right, so let's close this out, and we'll see each other and do the news over at Happy Endings. Sound like a plan?
Plan.
Okay, let's do that. I have to move my music over to the right place now. Okay, so let's close this out. You have been listening to GameHounds, episode 254, recorded on March 12th, 2014, because I had to remind myself. If you want to get a hold of us, GameHounds.net is the website. That's the first entry, even though it looks like it's old, is actually our most recent show. So check out our shows up there. And also, make sure that you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/GameHounds or The Gamehounds. I always forget. /The Gamehounds, as well as our Twitch feed. Our Twitch feed is twitch.tv/The Gamehounds. And those are two great places to get a hold of us, especially the Facebook page, because if you like that Facebook page, you will get a regular daily feed of the most important news in the gaming world, and be on top of what's happening with things like Titanfall and PlayStation 4, and if things are down or if things are up. That's where you're going to find that information. So go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Gamehounds. If you ever want to send us an email, gamehounds@gmail.com, you know that. And text line, where you can also leave a voicemail. And the text line is?
Text line is 304-300-9889. That's a great place to let us know if Ghost Recon Service are online.
Yeah.
Go way back to Ghost Recon.
Right. And I guess that's it. We're going to take our news over to Happy Endings. Happy Endings is our live show that we do afterwards at noon Pacific every Wednesday. So if you haven't seen that before, go to Spreaker.com and listen to us live, and that way you can participate in the chat room. We have a great group of people that are there every single week, and we'd love to have you there as well. We all sit and chat and hang out and drink coffee and fart and scratch our balls. That's a good place to do it. And that is, again, Spreaker.com/user/Gamehounds, and but you have to sign up for Spreaker, and that way you can be in the chat room.
Well, if you go to our website, too, if you go to GameHounds.net, it's right up there, front and center. You can actually listen to the show right from that website, or click on it and go into the chat from there, too. So
exactly. So awesome. We will talk to you guys next week on the show, or in just a half an hour over at the Twitch feed. So in the Spreaker feed. So we'll talk to you then. Have a good week. Bye, everyone.
I thought you were breaking out your different vocal voice right there.
No, just a frog in my throat.